Starting with the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. All praise be to Him who is the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. May all the blessings and bounties be on the holy soul of Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Listeners and viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Today I wish to tell you a story of two different women who were arrested from two different parts of the world. They were kept in captivity. Who were the captors? Why they were arrested? What happened to them during the time of confinement? And what kind of treatment they received when they were in captivity? In 2001, a British journalist came to Afghanistan. She entered Afghanistan from Pakistani border without visa and other legal documents. She was doing a videography of Afghan women in Afghanistan, and by then it was very popular that Afghan women were living in very pathetic condition in that war-stricken country, and they were suffering from so many problems. Since she was a journalist and she wanted to collect first-hand data about condition and status of Afghan women. But there she got detected and arrested by Afghan forces. She was taken to prison, and she was kept in prison in captivity for 11 long days. During that time of captivity, she was investigated. She went under different sessions of investigation. She was asked about her purpose of arrival in Afghanistan. First, Afghan forces thought she was a spy. She was doing some spying for some hostile agency, for some foreign agency, for some other country. So they had so many questions in their mind about that lady. But when they investigated her, when they asked her so many questions, and these sessions continued on daily basis, later after 11 days, she was released. She was offered a deal by one of the Afghan clerics, by one of the Afghan officials, that we are going to release you and we are making arrangements for your journey back to home, but we want a commitment that after you are back to your home, you will study Islam, you will study Holy Quran, you will study the Seerah of the Holy Prophet and other Islamic literature. That lady made a commitment, got released, and went back to her home. There she studied Islam. This incident took place in 2001, and after a study of 2 long years, in 2003, that lady converted to Islam. She became Muslim, and then she wrote a book in the hands of Taliban. That lady was Yvonne Ridley, who was a British citizen and a journalist by profession. Later, when she became Muslim, she chose new name Maryam Ridley. Now at present she is Maryam Ridley. In 2003 she converted to Islam, and now it is 2023, so she is Muslim from last 20 long years. The book she wrote in the hands of Taliban is really a masterpiece. She wrote the entire story of her travel to Afghanistan, what she was doing there, how she got arrested, and what happened to them when she got arrested by Afghan forces, by Taliban, because by then Taliban were in government, and what kind of treatment, what sort of behavior they expressed and exhibited to her. She writes in her book that when I was in captivity, it was not a traditional or conventional jail, rather it was a kind of a guest house where all facilities were available for me, where I was served with best of the food, where no guards were outside my room, inside my room, only outside the boundary, the 4-wall boundary of that guest house, there were security personnel. And whenever the investigators, they came to me, they called me sister, they respected me, they never touched me, they never abused me, they never humiliated me. I faced no disgrace, no disrespect from those people. And she writes in her book that I got abusive to them. I often got abusive to them. I shouted to them, but they never reacted. When I shouted too much, they simply walked out the room, but they never reacted. They never touched me. Every time they were calling me sister, they were giving me respect, and they would ask me that you were their guest, not a prisoner. Fine. So this was a kind of a treatment, and she writes in her book that once a moment came that I spitted on their face, on the face of one of the investigator, and I thought that the next thing would be my death, but they never reacted. They did not even ask me why I was doing that. So this is the story of one of the women I'm going to tell you about, Yvonne Ridley, who is now Mariam Ridley. The book is there, e-book form is available. You may read this book for further details. And there are so many talks by Mariam Ridley on YouTube, on internet, about her story of conversion to Islam, and how she came to Afghanistan and what happened during the period of confinement. The second woman who was arrested from Pakistan in 2003. She was taken to Afghanistan and she was put in Bagram jail, one of the most notorious jails in the world. There she lived in confinement for 5 long years. All kind of torture, all kind of abuse, all kind of humiliation. There she was raped, she was disgraced, she was tortured, and all third-degree methods were used. Later she was taken to America, and in America, American court awarded her sentence for 86 long years, imprisonment for 86 long years, under the charge of murder attempt on 6 American officials. This woman was Dr. Afia Siddiqui, who was not a criminal, who did not commit any crime, who did not do anything wrong, who was in fact a genius lady, who is a genius lady. She is MIT graduate, neuroscientist, one of the richest mind in the world, and her richness of research, her richness of knowledge, her richness of excellence of approach was the real crime. America wanted her to work for America, but she wanted to work for Pakistan, for Muslims, for Islam, for Muslim children. She had so many ideas, plans, and she had developed so many models for the betterment of the Muslim Ummah. She was crazy to preach Islam, to establish the hegemony of Islam, to contribute in the establishment of the hegemony of Islam. And that was actually the real crime, real offense on her credit. She was taken to America. Now she is in Texas in one of the prisons. After 2003, now it is 2023. She has served 20 years of imprisonment. But it is not the end. She is supposed to live there for 60 years more. What is happening to her? What kind of treatment is being shown to her? All kind of abuse, all kind of torture, all kind of humiliation, and all kind of, illegal, illicit, and third class method of torture and interrogation has been applied on her. Now you see a woman who was arrested by Muslims, a Christian woman who was arrested by Muslims. On the other hand, a Muslim woman who was arrested by Christians, a Christian woman in the hands of Muslims, a Muslim woman in the hands of Christians. 2 women, and they both are linked with Afghanistan somehow. What is happening to them? On one side, a Christian woman who was in the hands of Muslims, she got impressed by the treatment, by the behavior. She got inspired. She went back, she studied Islam and converted to Islam, became Muslim. On the other side, a Muslim woman, for committing no crime, for committing no sin, for committing no offense, is still in jail, is still in prison, is still going under abuse and torture and all kind of inhuman treatment. Here you need to make a comparison. Those who criticize Pakistan, the champions of human rights who criticize Pakistan, they claim to be the torch bearers of the human rights, women rights, and they blame that in Pakistan, women are not given their due rights, women are facing too many problems in the prison, women rights are violated in Pakistan. What about them? What are they doing? How are they treating a prisoner woman who is in prison, who is weak, by being a softer gender, who is a weak gender, who has no arms with her, who has committed no sin, no crime, what kind of treatment they are doing to her, it's shameful. Last week her family, her sister, Dr. Afia Siddiqui, met her. After 20 years, this is the first time that she was meeting with one of her family members. How poignant, how horrible, how heartening meeting it was. You may listen all details from Dr. Fozia. She told that Dr. Afia was in very, very pathetic condition. She was suffering from disease. She was injured. Her upper teeth were missing, and they didn't allow to hug. They didn't allow us to shake hands, to hug each other, to touch each other, and even they didn't allow to show the pictures of her children. These are the rights of women which are being given by those champions of human rights, by those people who claim that we are most civilized nation. We love humans, we respect humanity, we are the true emancipators of women's rights in the world. This is the true picture. On the other side, who are blamed, who are labeled as fiendish, as cruel, as barbaric Taliban, what they did to a woman, you may read the book In the Hands of Taliban. Make comparison and make a decision. Who are the real people who are protecting the rights of women, who respect humanity, who respect women, who respect human rights? Thank you so much.